Chapters 11 through 15 of the Book of Numbers, from the Holy Bible in Modern English. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Mark Penfold. The Holy Bible in Modern English, translated by Ferrar Fenton. The Book of Numbers, chapters 11 through 15. Chapter 11. But bad people murmured in the ears of the ever-living, and the Lord heard it and was displeased. So the Lord caused a fire to break out amongst them, and it consumed the rear of the camp. So the people called upon Moses, and Moses prayed to the ever-living, and quenched the fire. He therefore called the name of that spot the Burnings, because the Lord there burnt them with fire. But the mixed people who were amongst them longed and desired and wept. Some of the children of Israel also did the same, and said, "When shall we eat flesh? We remember the fish that we ate in Mitzar for nothing, with the cucumbers and the melons and the lettuces and the onions and the garlic. But now our souls are sick. There is nothing but this manna to look at." Moses, however, heard the people weeping, each family at the door of their tent, and the Lord was very angry, and in the eyes of Moses it was bad. Therefore Moses said to the ever-living, "Why have you brought evil upon your servant? And why have I not found favor in your eyes, for you to remove the weight of all this people from off me? Have I begotten all these people? Or have I brought them forth, that you should say to me, Carry them in your lap, as a mother carries in her lap, because as a woman I have sworn to feed them? I have no flesh to give to all this nation, who cry to me, saying, Give us flesh that we may eat. I cannot feed them. I cannot carry all this nation. They are too heavy for me, and therefore do this to me. Kill me now. Kill me if I have found favor in your eyes, that I may not see myself torn to pieces." But the ever-living answered Moses, "Add to yourself the 70 men from the rulers of Israel whom you know to be able to rule the people and to control them, and take them with you to the hall of assembly, and present them there with yourself, and I will descend and speak with you there, and will support you with the Spirit that is upon you. And I will put it upon them, and they shall carry, along with yourself, the load of this nation, and you shall not carry it alone. But as for this people, order them to sanctify themselves for tomorrow, and they shall eat flesh. For the ever-living has heard their weeping, saying, Would that we could eat meat, such as we enjoyed among the Mitzrayim. Therefore the ever-living will give them flesh, and they can eat it. They shall not eat it for 1 day only, or for 2 days, or for 5 days, or for 10 days, or for 20 days, but for a month's time, until it is ejected from their mouth, and the greedy loathe it. Because they have turned away from the ever-living, who is in the midst of them, and wept before me, saying, Why has he brought us from the Mitzrayim? But Moses replied, There are 600,000 of marching men in the nation I am surrounded by, and you say, Supply them with flesh meat, and let them eat it for a month. If the sheep and cattle are slaughtered for them, could they obtain it? If all the fish in this sea were added to them, could they obtain it? The ever-living, however, answered Moses, Is the hand of Jehovah cut off? Now you shall see whether my word is honored or not. Then Moses went out and related to the people all the words of the ever-living. And he selected 70 from the rulers of the people, and stationed them around the hall. And the ever-living descended in the cloud, and spoke with him, and strengthened him with the Spirit that was over him, and placed it upon each of the 70 rulers. And the Spirit rested upon them, and they addressed the audience, and did not fail. But 2 men separated themselves in the camp. The name of one was Eldad, and the name of the other was Medad. But the Spirit fell upon them, for they were enrolled, although they did not go to the assembly, and they addressed the people in the camp. Therefore a youth ran and reported it to Moses, and said, Eldad and Medad are addressing a meeting in the camp. So Joshua the son of Nun, the lieutenant of Moses, went to inquire, and then said, My lord Moses, restrain them. Moses, however, replied to him, You displease me. For I wish the ever-living would make all the people orators. I wish the ever-living would lay his Spirit upon them. So Moses and the rulers of Israel remained in camp, and a wind came from the ever-living and brought up quails from the sea, and they were scattered over the camp for a day's journey on this side, as far as a day's journey on the other side, all round the camp, and were heaped on the surface of the ground. Then the people arose all that day and all that night, and all the next day, to collect the quails. And the smallest collection was 10 bags, and they spread them all about the camp. The flesh was still between their teeth unconsumed, when the anger of the Lord burnt against the people, and the Lord struck them with a very great stroke. So they called the name of that spot, the Graves of Greed, for they buried there the people who were greedy. Then the people marched from the Graves of Greed to the green fields, and stayed at those fields. Chapter 12. Then Miriam and Aaron quarreled with Moses about the Cushite woman whom he had taken, for Moses had married a Cushite. So they asked, "Has the ever-living spoken only with Moses?
Has he not also spoken to us?"
And the ever-living heard it. But the man Moses was very gentle, more so than any man on the face of the earth. Then the ever-living spoke suddenly to Moses and to Aaron and to Miriam,
"Go all 3 of you to the hall of assembly."
So all 3 went, and Jehovah descended in the form of the cloud, and stood at the door of the hall, and called Aaron and Miriam. Both of them accordingly went. When he said to them, "Listen now to my words. If you are prophets of the ever-living, look at me. When I speak to you, it is a revelation in your dreams. It is not the same as with my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. I speak face to face with him, and in visions, and he has not to seek the ever-living in enigmas and parables. Then why have you not regarded the message of my servant Moses?" And the anger of the ever-living burnt at them, and he departed. Then the cloud turned from above the hall, and Miriam had become a leper, as white as snow. And Aaron recoiled from Miriam, now she was a leper. And Aaron said to Moses,
"Pray to the Almighty, so that he may not lay upon us the sin which we attempted, and that we have committed. Let her not be like what comes dead from its mother's womb, with half of its flesh consumed."
Therefore Moses cried to the ever-living, saying,
"I pray God to cure her now."
And the ever-living replied, "If her father had spit in her face, would she not be disgraced for 7 days? Let her be isolated for 7 days outside the camp, and afterwards she may return." Miriam was therefore isolated outside the camp for 7 days, and the people did not march until the return of Miriam. But the people marched afterwards from the green fields, and encamped in the wilderness of Paran. Chapter 13. Then the ever-living spoke to Moses, commanding, "Send men, and let them survey the land of Canaan, which I will give to the children of Israel. You shall send a man from each tribe of their fathers, all of them nobles." Moses consequently sent them from the wilderness of Paran by command of the ever-living. All were nobles, chiefs of the children of Israel, and their names were these: Of the tribe of Reuben, Shamna the son of Yichri. Of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat the son of Kori. Of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh. Of the tribe of Issachar, Ezal the son of Joseph. Of the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea the son of Nun. Of the tribe of Benjamin, Phalat the son of Raphnah. Of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadial the son of Sodi. Of the tribe of Joseph, the tribe of Manasseh, Gadai the son of Susai. Of the tribe of Dan, Amiel the son of Gamalai. Of the tribe of Asher, Sethor the son of Michal. Of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabai the son of Waphsai. Of the tribe of Gad, Ganal the son of Machri. These were the names of the nobles whom Moses sent to survey the land, and Moses surnamed Hoshea the son of Nun Joshua. Moses then sent them to survey the land of Canaan, and instructed them, "Go up from the south, and ascend to the hills, and examine the land, what it is, and what its people are who inhabit it, their strength, their weakness, if they are few or many, and what kind of country it is they live in, whether it is good or bad, and what kind of cities they inhabit, with their camps and fortresses. Also examine the fertility of the land, if it is watered, if there are trees in it or not, and their size. You must also collect some of the fruit of the country, for it is the time of grape harvest." They therefore went up to survey the country from the wilderness of Sin to the plain that extends to Kamoth. Thus they ascended from the south as far as Hebron, where resided Achiman, Shashai, and Talmai, 3 children of Anak. So they only went as far as the brook Eshcol, and decided to cut off a single branch of grapes from there, and carried it on a yoke between 2. They also took pomegranates and figs. Therefore they named that spot the Brook of Grapes, on account of the grapes which they cut from there for the sons of Israel. There they turned back from surveying the country at the end of 40 days, and marched and came to Moses and Aaron, and all the chiefs of the children of Israel, in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh, and reported the matter to them and all the council, and showed the fruit of the country, and continued, and said, "We have been to the country to which you sent us, and it is indeed flowing with milk and honey, and this is its produce. However, the people who inhabit the country are strong, and their cities are very great fortresses, and we saw the sons of Anak there. Amalek inhabits the south country, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites inhabit the hills, and the Canaanites inhabit along the sea, and alongside the Jordan." But Caleb had been silent before the people and Moses. Now he said, "Ascending, let us go up and conquer them, for we are able to do it." But the princes who went up with him replied, "We are not able to overpower these people, for they are stronger than us." And they brought reports to the children of Israel about the country they had surveyed, saying, "The country that we traveled over to examine it, it is a country that devours its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw were tall men, and we saw the Nephilim there, sons of Anak, more than giants, and we were in our own eyes like locusts, and we were like gnats in theirs." Chapter 14. Then all the council arose and gave out their votes. The people also wept in that night, and all the children of Israel complained against Moses and against Aaron. And all the council asked, "Which was better for us, to die in the land of the Mitzrayim, or for us to die here in this desert? And why did the ever-living bring us to this country to fall by the sword? Our wives and our children will be plunder. Is it not better for us to return to Mizar?" Then every man said to his brother, "Let us choose a leader and return to the Mitzrayim." But Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the chiefs of the children of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who had surveyed the country, tore their garments, and addressed all the chiefs of the children of Israel, and said, "The country that we traveled over to survey it is a very, very good land. If the ever-living is pleased with us, and goes with us to this country, he can give us this land, which flows with milk and honey. Rebel not against the ever-living, and fear not the people of the country, for we can devour them, throwing a shadow over them. Since the Lord is with us, fear them not." All the council threatened, however, to murder them with stones, but the glory of the ever-living appeared in the hall of assembly to all the children of Israel. Then Jehovah said to Moses, "How long shall I be despised by this people? How long will they not trust to me, in spite of all the wonders I have effected for them? I could strike them with a word and destroy them, and could make from yourself a nation mightier than they." Moses, however, said to the ever-living, "But when the Mizrahites hear of it, from the midst of whom you brought up this people by your might, and the inhabitants of this country hear, who have heard that Jehovah is in the midst of this people, who eye to eye have seen you are the ever-living, and your cloud has stood over them, and with a perpetual cloud you have marched before them by day, and with a perpetual fire by night, that you have killed this people as a single man, then the heathen, who have heard this report of you, will say, 'Because Jehovah was not able to bring this people to the country that he swore to them, he has slain them in the desert.' Consequently now, O ever-living, increase your mercy as you promised, saying, 'I am the ever-living, slow to anger and of great mercy, forbearing towards passion and sin, and not destroying the helpless.'
punishing the fault of the fathers upon their children to the third and the fourth generation. Forgive now the passion of this people, for your mercy is great, and as you have endured these people from Mitzer until now." Then the ever-living replied, "I will forgive as you request, for I live forever, and the majesty of the ever-living will fill the whole earth. However, all the men who have seen my majesty and the wonders that I effected amongst the Mitzrayim and in the wilderness, yet have revolted from me these 10 times and not listened to my voice, they shall not see the land which I promised to their fathers. That is, all who despised me shall not see it. But I accept my servant Caleb. His spirit was steadfast in him, and he was perfect after me. Therefore he shall arrive at the country where he went, and his posterity shall inherit it." However, as the Amalekites and the Canaanites occupied the valley, on the next day they turned face and retreated from them towards the wilderness, leading to the sea of Suph. There Jehovah spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "For how long shall I hear the complaints of this vile mob complaining against me? These complaints of the children of Israel, that they murmur against me. Say to them, As I live, says Jehovah, according to their demand to my ears, I will do to them. In this desert their corpses shall fall with all their officers and rulers, from the age of 20 years and upwards, who complained against me. They shall not arrive at the country that I raised my hand to lead them into, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua the son of Nun. But their children which they said would be enslaved I will bring in, and they shall see the country which you despised. But your corpses shall fall in this desert, and your sons shall be scattered in the desert 40 years, for you shall carry your whoredom until your bodies sink in the desert. By the number of the days when you should have been examining the country, 40 days, a year for a day, a year for a day, you shall carry your crimes 40 years. Thus shall you recognize your rebellion. I, the ever-living, have declared I will do this to all this vile mob who revolted against me in this desert. They shall perish there, they shall die. And the men whom Moses sent to spy the country, and who returned and complained about it, the whole of that band shall become dung upon the earth. Those men shall die who reported bad of the land, to fight against the ever-living. Yet Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, shall live from among those who went to survey the country. And Moses repeated these words to all the children of Israel, and the people mourned greatly. At the morning, however, they arose to go up to the top of the hill, crying, "Here we are! Let us go up to the place which the ever-living said, for we have sinned." But Moses replied, "What is this? You transgress the command of Jehovah, and he is not pleased. You shall not go up, for the ever-living is not with you, so you will be defeated before your enemies. For the Amalekites and Canaanites are before you, and they will defeat you by the sword, because you have deserted from the ever-living, and Jehovah is not with you." They, however, arrogantly ascended to the top of the hill, but the ark of the covenant of the ever-living and Moses did not move from the camp. So the Amalekites and the Canaanites who were encamped upon the hill charged down and repulsed them, and pursued them as far as the valley. Chapter 15. Afterwards the ever-living spoke to Moses, commanding, "Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you come to your permanent country which I will give to you, and you make a gift to the ever-living, a burnt offering or a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, or a free-will offering, or in your festivals to make a pleasant breath to the ever-living with an ox or a sheep, then approaching, present as your gift to the ever-living as a food offering, 1/10 of fine flour mixed with the 1/4 of a hin of oil, and of wine for a drink offering you shall offer the 1/4 of a hin, with the burnt offering, or the sacrifice of a single lamb. Or with a ram you shall offer as a food offering 1/12 of fine flour mixed with 1/3 of a hin of oil, and the 1/3 part of a hin of wine for a drink offering, presented as a pleasing breath to the Lord. And when you offer a bullock as a burnt offering or a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, or as a thank offering to the ever-living,
You shall offer with the bullock, as a food offering, 3/10 of fine flour mixed with half a hin of oil, and as a drink offering, present half a hin of wine as a gift of pleasant breath to Jehovah. And the same shall be done with each ox, each ram, each lamb of the sheep or goats. According to the number which are offered, this shall be done with each one of the number. Make every presentation in the same way as these, to offer a pleasing breath to the ever-living. And whatever stranger resides with you or is settled among your posterity, when he makes an offering of a pleasing breath to the ever-living, he shall do the same as you do. It is a common institution alike for you and the foreigner who resides with you. It is a perpetual institution for your posterity, both for you and the foreigner, before Jehovah. There shall be one law and one rule for yourselves and for the foreigners residing with you. The ever-living also spoke to Moses, commanding, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you arrive at the country where I will bring you, and eat of the bread of the land, you shall lift it up before the ever-living. You shall lift up the first cake from the dough, the same as you hold up of your grain, so shall you hold it up. You must give the first of your grindings to the ever-living as a lift offering from your produce. But if you wander from and do not practice all these commands which Jehovah has dictated to Moses, all that the ever-living has commanded to you by the medium of Moses, from the day when the Lord commanded them to your furthest posterity, or if your parliament should inadvertently commit an error, then all your parliament shall offer a bull from the herd as a burnt offering for a pleasant breath to the ever-living, with its food offering and drink offering as decreed, and a ram of the goats for a sin offering, and the priest shall expiate for all the parliament of the children of Israel, and forgive them their fault, when they bring the offering to present to Jehovah, and make a sin offering for their fault. But if an individual commits a fault, then he shall present a she-goat of a year old as a sin offering, and the priest shall expiate for that person for the fault he has inadvertently committed before the ever-living. He shall expiate for it, and shall pardon him for it. There is one law for the native of the children of Israel, and for the foreigners among them, for you to observe regarding faultiness. But the person who acts with a wicked hand, whether a native or a foreigner, in contempt of the ever-living, that person shall be excommunicated from among his people, for he has despised the command of the Lord, and broken his decree by his sin. While the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man collecting sticks on the Sabbath day. And those who found him gathering sticks presented him to Moses and Aaron and to all the parliament, who put him under guard, for they could not decide what to do with him. But the ever-living said to Moses, The man must die. Let all the assembly kill him with stones outside the camp. The whole assembly therefore took him outside the camp and killed him with stones. So he died as the ever-living had commanded to Moses. The ever-living also spoke to Moses, commanding, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, Make fringes upon the borders of your clothing always, and place above the fringes cords of purple, so that the fringes may be like flowers for you to remember the commands of the ever-living by, and to practice them, and that you may not wander after your hearts and after your eyes as you have wandered after them, but instead that you may remember and practice all my commands, and live holily to your God. I am your ever-living God, who brought you from the land of the Mitzrayim to be your God. I am the ever-living God. The end of chapters 11 through 15 of the Book of Numbers. Recording by Mark Penfold.